All right. Hello, everybody. Can you hear us? Yes, Daniel saying yes. Okay. Oh, we have some people popping on. So we're just going to do our normal introductions, and just kind of go around. And if you can say who you are, what agency you're with, and what agency you're with, we'll just kind of leave it at that today. And we'll get right into it. My name is Amanda Engel-Linsky, and I work for the Coalition.
I'm Carly Crawford, and I also work for the Coalition.
I'm Danielle Woods. I'm with the board of the Coalition.
I'm Jan McCoy, and I'm with the parent sector.
Hey, Jan.
Hey.
Hey, Jan.
Lisa Atkinson. I'm with United Way of Blount County.
Katie Doherty. I'm the services coordinator at the McNabb Center.
I see Amy connecting to her audio. All right, we'll go ahead and get started. If anyone else hops on, we'll kind of look at the end again and see who else we need. This is also serving as like our attendance right now too. We didn't say that back when we first started having these meetings, but when you introduce yourself, we're signing you in to our meeting. Okie dokie. Welcome to our March meeting. We're hoping this is going to be one of our last virtual meetings before we start looking at doing some more in-person stuff over the next couple of months. So we appreciate everybody that has hung in with this, because we know virtual meetings are not ideal for anybody, but that's just kind of become the new normal for the time being. So we are coming at you from our new office in the Blount County Public Library. For any of you that haven't caught that update, we are working out of the library now in our rented office space, and it's actually going really well. So,
Yes.
all right.
And I wanted to say something really fast because Amanda has been very humble and hasn't said anything, but we made her our executive director last month. I don't think we ever officially announced it. So congratulations to Amanda.
All right, moving on. So we have our spring pickup day. I'm gonna let Carly talk about that for just a second.
Yes. So in a couple of weeks, we will have our spring pickup day where we go to the park and pick up cigarette butts and other litter from the park and just kind of around the playgrounds and stuff like that. And so this one will be held at Sandy Springs Park. And this is great for us because we can use the data and take that to our local governments and report that to the state. And it just kind of supports our funding. And it's also a great opportunity to bring your kids and talk about the dangers of smoke and secondhand smoke and why you shouldn't start smoking, and specifically smoking around playgrounds and why that's bad. So if you would like to come, we would love to see you there. And to sign up, there's a little sign up registration sheet on our website on the homepage, or you can go to our event page on Facebook, and it's just at Be Aware Blount, and under our event tab, it should pop right up. So if you have any questions about that, let us know, and we would love to see you there.
We had an event in December. You guys probably remember us talking about that. It was a little close to the holidays, but we were really just trying to get it going. And it went really well. So it's an easy way. If you have kids, if you don't have kids, it's definitely a great way to have them volunteer and be a little bit involved. But it also really does help everyone see, like, well, there are a lot of cigarette butts in our parks, and especially around playgrounds. And just so everyone knows, this is a quick update. We've actually been talking with the mayor's office about a new playground tobacco ban ordinance that we're trying to get passed with our city council. And so basically that would be an ordinance where if you're in a playground, you can't smoke cigarettes. It does not include vaping, unfortunately, but it will take care of the actual cigarette butts in playground areas. So the mayor was super interested in that. He said he kind of wanted to champion that for us a little bit and take that to our 3 main municipalities to have that voted on and talked about at their city council meetings. So that's exciting because that would really reduce secondhand smoke exposure to our kids that are playing in parks. So if you're interested in that day, like I said, it's an important day for a few different reasons. March 27th, 9 a.m., Sandy Springs Park. Just let us know if you want to be there.
And one other thing that I forgot to mention is that this is in partnership with Keep Blount Beautiful. And
Yes.
so we definitely appreciate all of their help in getting everything set up. And we'll be providing masks and gloves and trash bags and the little grabber
Picker
things,
up
so you don't
things.
have to use your hands to touch all the trash. But yeah, we definitely appreciate all of their help. And that would all be provided if you would like to come. So, all right.
Is this a rain or shine event as well?
This is a some rain or shine. If we're having full on, thunderstorms, we're not going to do it. And we'll talk about an alternate date. I was hesitant to do a rain date just because that next weekend is Good Friday and the Saturday before Easter. But we will definitely make that decision. If it's looking questionable, we'll make that decision probably the morning of, and we'll send that out on social media, and we'll also do a campaign MailChimp blast out too if it's going to be in question. But we'll be watching the weather, and we'll try to keep everyone notified as early as we can. Okay, any other questions about this, or anybody having problems with the link or anything like that?
No, I was able to sign up yesterday and it worked, I think.
Yep.
Yeah, we
We
got
saw
the email. Thank you.
All right, so this is the thing that I'm really excited about right now because we were doing really well. So we've got our community checks going on. If you're new to this, to the community checks, basically we, through a lot of data that we've collected over the past 2 years with our kids, our youth in our community, we discovered that kids were telling us that their main source of access to alcohol and tobacco products was from our retailers and without proof of ID. So basically, kids were telling us they were able to come in, they were able to purchase alcohol and tobacco products, and no one was really asking them for any kind of proof of ID for that. So this year, as a way to combat that, because we know access is such a huge point in underage alcohol, tobacco, and drug use, we're really trying to kind of hit the retailer side of it and the retailer access. So we created a scan tool that we're using, and it's in a Google form. We've sent out the link a few times. We're definitely going to keep sending it out. This time around, the questions that you're asked are questions that you can observe from your car. And so we're just asking community members to go to different retail stores. If it's in your natural path, that's great. If you want to do more retailers outside of that, that's great too. But we're looking for some really basic feedback right now from the community. And then you can see here on this slide, this is what it actually looks like. So these are the 4 questions. They're super easy to fill out. And the whole thing takes maybe 5 minutes from beginning to end. You just pull up, you observe these things, you give it back to us. We get that data and we've compiled that and we're sharing that with our law enforcement because we're starting compliance checks up again. So some of these retailers that you're not seeing signage for, you're seeing a lot of youth go in and out of there, things like that. We're passing that information on to our law enforcement officer that we're coordinating with for our alcohol compliance checks. So this is really important. I'll tell you too, like at the state, like for our region, we have other coalitions now that have come to us and said, I'm super interested in this. I think we need to do this for our county. Can you share how you've set it up and things like that? So it's really caught on regionally. We have several other coalitions in our region that are utilizing it as well. And what I wanted to do is I wanted to give an update because in our first week that we launched it, we had like 20 responses instantly, which is great. Really want to thank Jill Cusack. She's not on here today, I don't think, but she did a ton of those just kind of independently in her spare time. So really want to thank her for that. But where we are is this particular scan ends on March 31st, and we really need more scans than what we've gotten. So we had like a really big response that first week, and then it's kind of like tapered off. So we're really asking you guys to pick that back up again. We have just under 200 retailers that sell both alcohol and tobacco in our area. So we do have some places to hit up still. Carly and I are going to be doing some this week, but it's going to take a group effort for us to cover the county. So
Do we have an actual list somewhere, like on our website or something?
no, we have a list. It's not on the website, but we can share that too so that everybody can kind of see.
Okay.
So for the next round, so in in April, we'll start a different series of questions. But for this round, we were really just wanting to see how many participants we could get and how much we could canvas and kind of go from there. But we'll definitely next round share a list and see if we can get those checked off as we go. This was kind of a test run for us to see how it was going to go, and it went really well. And so we think we can continue to use those Google Forms to get data from our community like that. So our big ask is we need people to do them. We really, really need you. Just like I said, in your day-to-day, you can pull it up on your phone. It's browser-based, so you don't have to download an app or anything like that. You fill out your info and then you submit it, and we get that instantly. So it's pretty easy to do.
And that's on our website too. So if the email has gotten buried in your inbox or anything like that, it's on our website, or I'd be more than happy to email that to you directly.
Yeah. And we're also going to be sharing it this week on our social media. Because like I said, we're about 2 weeks out until that scan closes out. But we would love to have big numbers. We would love to report back on that and say, like, this is kind of what we're finding. So yeah, that would be great. Anybody have any thoughts on this? I know Danielle has said send out the list, and we'll do that. But does anybody else have any ideas on engagement? Because we've had people in the community from Facebook that have reached out to us and said, I want to do this and I want to be involved in this because my kids were able to get alcohol from a retailer near my house. So, but any other thoughts on how to get this out and more participation?
I just share it on the groups that are community groups on my Facebook page, and I mention it to people. I'm not sure what else to do. I wish we could get more done through the schools to send this information out to people that way.
I'm going to send it out through the chamber with our membership. I'm going to have them post it this week. And I am going to, there was another one, the library, the public library, through their information as well. So, but if you have time and you have people that you think like, yeah, they have some time to just drive around and do these really quickly, that would be a huge help to us.
I was also going to suggest advertising as volunteer service opportunities. So I don't know. I know there's certain like programs through the college or like beta clubs where students oftentimes need volunteer service hours, and it's something that can be logged with information going in. So sometimes that kind of just captures people's attention on that.
That's a great idea. Yeah, I think that is a great idea. So we'll definitely do that, especially with Maryville College, because I know a lot of their Bonner scholars and some of their other students are pretty frequently looking for service hour opportunities. So yeah, that's a great idea. So I will post that through them as well, through Maryville College. I had another thought with that, and now it's gone. Well, does anybody else have any questions or any other thoughts on this particular initiative?
Is there a post on our Facebook page for it? I'm flipping through because I was going to share it again, and I'm not seeing it.
It's probably gotten buried. I can pin it to the top really quick though, and then that way it'll just be there.
Yeah, that'd be great. Thank you.
Welcome.
Yeah, so we'll send those things out to those groups this week, and we'll see what we can get there. And then, like I said, Carly and I will be doing it. Oh, the thing I was going to add, Katie reminded me of this. So if you're with a group, so if you have a business or an agency that you work for, and you guys decide as a business or an agency, you're going to take some time to do a few of these scans for us, take a picture of yourselves doing it, send it to us, and then we'll post it to our social media, and we'll tag your group or your agency or your business as a supporter. So feel free to do that, and we can definitely make sure that you guys are recognized, and that whatever group you're associated with is recognized as well for that.
All right. So last week we had our first live virtual training for our Parents for Prevention initiative. And so Kristen Robinson with Village Behavioral Health came, and she and Amanda kind of had a little chat about signs to look for in teens with substance misuse, and how to start a conversation with your kids about the dangers of substances, and kind of what to do if you think that substances are being used in your home. And so this was our first run at just doing it live, putting it out there, and we ended up with 16 total views, which that was pretty exciting. And so if you weren't able to attend, our training can be found on the YouTube channel. We were able to do that through Zoom and YouTube Live, and eventually we'll be doing that through Facebook Live as well. So we're just basically trying to make that as accessible as possible. And so, yeah, if you watch it and you have any feedback for us, definitely let us know. And if there are any topics that you want to see in the future, we would love to try to make that happen. Or if any of you would be willing to do one of these. The hope is that we'll be able to offer these quarterly. And the goal of the program in general is so that parents can come and watch these trainings and then take what they've learned to their own social circles and just kind of spread the information throughout the county. And so another thing too is we're trying to make it like basically as private as possible for people. So if anyone has any questions that they might not want to like have their name attached to, they can definitely send that to us and we can ask anonymously. And so we're just trying to build this up and make it something that parents can go to if they're having trouble.
Our goal right now is to do one once a quarter. If we pick a particular topic or series that's of interest, we may increase that. But right now, we're looking to just start it at once a quarter and go from there. And then, of course, this next quarter, we'll be revisiting, if we want to do that in person, because I do think it's a lot more appealing to people to be able to come to something, especially if we can offer like a meal or a snack or something like that, and be able to be there in person. So so just kind of hang tight with us on that, and we will keep you updated for our next training.
Did we post that link on our social media so that we could share that? Because I think that would be something, I know I shared it that it was happening, but I think like for those people that like were like, oh, I missed it, or I didn't see that post, if they can at least have that link to watch it again on YouTube, we may be able to bump that viewership up a little bit.
Yes, it is on our page. I can post it again.
Okay.
So I think because when I posted the YouTube live link, it saved it, and so you can still click on that same link and it'll take you straight to the video.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Some of our content has been getting buried too, because we've been posting so much recently, which is kind of the downside to social media. But if you're ever looking for something specifically and you can't find it, let us know and we'll pin it to the top so it's a little bit easier to find. Really quickly, we had our virtual Narcan training on the 15th with our ropes coordinator, Marissa. And long story short there is that we'll be doing those once a quarter. Next quarter, again, we'll look at doing it in person, because I do think that's another one where she can get you the Narcan if you do a virtual training, but you have to coordinate that a little bit. So it's not quite as easy as being able to come to a training and walk away with Narcan. But we're going to provide Narcan trainings once a quarter moving forward with our ropes coordinator. I don't know why I'm doing this.
All right, so next month we will have our spring drug take back day. And so as always, it will be at the Blount County Justice Center, and we'll be set up in the little drive-through. So you can come and drop off your unwanted, unused, and expired prescription medications. And a DEA agent will take those, no questions asked, and they will be incinerated. So this is a great way to make sure that you don't have any unnecessary medications in your home. We will be there in support, and we'll be giving out log boxes if you need one. Dispose RX packets to dispose of medications at home. So if you or anyone you know is needing this, definitely save the date in your calendar. It'll be April 24th, which is a Saturday from 10 to 2. And so you can come by anytime.
Mhm. And our numbers in October were very low, and we're assuming that that's because people were not getting out still, of course, because of the pandemic. But we are really hoping to recoup those numbers because as a state, I said this last month, but as a state, our collection numbers are just down, and they're down pretty significantly, like several £100,000 down this year compared to years past. So I want to see a great turnout. I'm feeling very competitive this time around because Blount County is usually like one or two in the state, number one or two in the state for pounds collected. And I know that's a weird thing to be competitive about, but it's a good thing because it gets those prescription drugs out of our community, and it is so positive for so many different reasons. The least of which is it makes you less likely to be a victim of some sort of crime. So we really want a lot of participation there. Dig your stuff out, dig your vitamins out. They don't have to be prescription drugs. It can be old
Over the counter.
Yeah, meds too. So we're really hoping to do that. I'm meeting with some of our pharmacists in our community to talk with them about how they're disposing of their drugs too, because I don't know if you've been to pharmacies, and a lot of them have take back bins that you can use now and things like that. So we're trying to think around a way of, can we get those numbers counted in our numbers as well? Because that would be great for us. So yeah, Saturday, the 24th. All right, so this is kind of the end, but there's just a lot of just like random tidbit things that I wanted everyone to know. The first thing is that we have been approved for a new stimulant grant for this next fiscal year. It's probably going to start May 15th for us. And this is huge because we haven't had a stimulant grant since I've been with the coalition. And I don't know that we've ever had a strictly stimulant based grant before since we had our big meth campaign years and years and years ago. So this is good for us because we have not been able to target stimulants the way we need to. Most of us probably know, or I guess I should share, after the Tennessee Together bills were signed, that really limited and reduced prescribing opioids and access to opioids. That was great. We cut down our opioid access as a state, but as a result, we really increased in stimulant use. Stimulants are easier to get, they're cheaper to get, and that's kind of what a lot of people have gone towards. So that's a great opportunity for us. What I want to say with that, and Danielle can chime in where she needs to here, is that we operate off of a reimbursement with our state grants, which is why we've been fundraising and really looking at increasing our capital campaign. And so we want to be sure that we're going to be able to operate this grant. So we still need to kind of kick up our fundraising initiatives a little bit so that we have the money to basically front our programs each month to get reimbursed. Like our operations budget needs to increase some for us to really be able to effectively operate this grant. So that's something to consider and think about as well. And I don't want to put you on the spot, but Danielle, did you need to add anything else to that?
Well, I was just going to say that we did really well with the fall, winter kind of running. We raised over $10,000. My goal is to raise another $10,000. I know that COVID is really killing all this stuff. It's hard to get out and do things and get in front of people, and everybody's money is going to paying for food or going to Amazon, from what I can tell. So just keep sharing things. There's no amount that's too small for donations. If you haven't given a $25 donation, or people who haven't given anything. Last year was a great time to give. The IRS gave everybody a $300 credit, whether they itemized or not. And I was really pushing it. I got a lot of clients to donate for us last year, which was awesome. I don't know that they're going to do that this year, but yeah, I just keep sending it out to everybody and harassing everybody. It seems to be working.
We're also in the process of applying for a line of credit. So we'll keep everyone posted on that and kind of where we get with that as well. So that's something exciting though, and it's positive. We just need the funds to be able to really operate that as it's intended to. The other thing that I wanted to mention is that we've had a digital media opportunity, and kind of the long story short of that is that a professor from UT reached out to me about something unrelated, but we started talking, and basically he was learning about what my job was, da 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 da. And he recently had a brother that died of an overdose just a few months ago. And he is in the social media and marketing and advertising department of UT. And so he was like, I really want to help you guys with a digital media campaign. I would love to work with you. This is something that's like very heavy on my heart right now. So we're pretty excited about that. We're still trying to work out the details, but that could be pretty good for us because that would be highly specific to Blount County. So very specific to Blount County data points. And also with an ask. So like the ask would be everyday interventions that people can take that reduces the chances of addiction and overdose in our county. So, and we listed some of those there. So like talking to your kids about the dangers of substance abuse or using drugs, locking your medications like we've talked about so often, things like that. So we're kind of waiting to see how this is exactly going to develop, but he does campaigns for like larger businesses and agencies through private consulting. So we're really hoping that'll be something that'll be kind of in our toolbox that we'll be able to use again and again. So that's exciting. We've kind of mentioned this. We're trying to plan for future in-person meetings. So what I think that we're going to do is a lot of people that are choosing to get vaccinated are starting to get vaccinated over this month and next month. So I think by May, we're going to do an in-person meeting. We'll probably try to do it outdoors still, just to be cautious. And then in June, we'll probably look at moving indoors if we can. So that's kind of something to be thinking about because I know people are sick of the Zoom meetings. So that's what we're looking at there. If you need a prescription medical lockbox, please email us. We have those to give out to you. We'd be happy to get those to you. If you still need to pick up your t-shirt and you ordered one, I'm wearing mine today. We have the rest of those here. If you didn't have it delivered directly to your house, you can pick it up at the library from us. And then our next meeting is the 21st. That's kind of everything from our end as far as reporting goes, but we would love to hear about what you guys are doing in your, or what announcements you have with your agencies or organizations.
Well, I'm going to start because I just wanted to share with you. I believe at this point, we are going to try to all come together as a staff starting in May. So you may reach out to Marie and see what that's going to look like as far as having meetings in the office. I would say May, you were talking about doing outside, but June, I think by June, I know 6 of 8 of us will be vaccinated. So we may be a little more likely to let everybody in. So I would just check with Marie about that. But that's kind of where we are. And then we're just, we're just tooling right along.
Yeah, I'll definitely check on that and make sure we're scheduled because I know that.
And I would say I'm going to try to reach out, because it's spring break for pretty much everybody. This would be a good week if we're doing those scan checks at places because, if you didn't go out of town, I happen to notice kids wandering around on the street. Yeah. And I was like, I'm like the little old lady, like, why are those children not? And I was like, oh yeah, it's spring break.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I would say if there's places that, kids know that they can go in and get stuff, they're utilizing those particularly, this week as they're out of school. So
yes, we were supposed to have a compliance check this week. That's a point that I forgot to make. And through some scheduling issues with law enforcement, that just didn't happen. But the plan is that we're getting something set in stone for the summer. So they've, in the past, our drug task force has done our compliance checks, and we've since moved to SRO officers taking care of that just because of workload. And so they kind of have to plan around when kids are going to be out of school and they're able to do that. So my hope is that we'll have quarterly compliance checks now as well, instead of just once or twice a year, because it's really not enough for what we're seeing and what our kids are telling us. So yeah, so that's a great point, and that would be something too. Maybe I can send that to Marie to send out the community scan info.
Oh yeah, she could absolutely do that.
even if just a couple of people are interested.
Yep.
I know that's not every.
And I was thinking, my husband's just sitting around. He ain't got nothing to do. I'm going to send him out and about. And
That would be awesome. We wanted to offer some sort of really great prize for the highest, the highest scans. Whoever got the most scans, but we can't. I mean, it'll be.
Yeah, but I mean, like you said, if you're going to those places anyway,
right.
a lot of that. And I mean, like I just was sitting here and thinking about, even just like the places that we do, like for gas day, like all of the Kenjos or, places that are like within a mile radius of right here where I am, that I could go cruise through at different times.
Gas day is a great idea too. I didn't even think about that until you mentioned that. But like for next quarter.
Oh yeah, for gas day. Yeah, when we do that. Yep.
We should start thinking through that. Yeah, because that would be a great opportunity. Also, don't forget, like if you're in grocery stores, most of your grocery stores are retailers as well. So they should still have that signage and some of those outward environmental things that are set up to deter underage selling and purchasing. So
for like big grocery stores like that, Amanda, is their signage supposed to be like when you first walk in, or would it be where they sell? I never buy alcohol, so I don't know where to look for this stuff.
It's not really an official. I mean, it's kind of up to them. It should be on the door. I mean, it should be on the door when you first walk in. And
okay.
They usually.
I didn't know if there was like if there was an ordinance or what that told us where it should be.
Yeah.
And I would think most grocery stores have that one, checkout that is the tobacco checkout. I mean, basically, because it's not like you can just go in and get your own. And so I'm like trying to think, as many times as you see it, like you just don't, if it doesn't affect you, you don't pay attention to it. But my guess would be is that checkout is where they would have something too, like that's like on the tobacco stuff.
Yeah, I don't know as much about. I'll have to look at our data from tobacco. When it comes to alcohol, usually our grocery stores are a little bit better because they have a lot of systems in place. Like you have to enter in people's information from their driver's license, and you can't go through a self-checkout, without someone carding you or whatever. I'm not saying that it's perfect, but they've been a little more thought through. One of the things that we heard from just a community member, it was an interested person that reached out to us through our Facebook Messenger, was that she said she used to work for a retailer and that frequently they would just type in whatever date of birth because they didn't want to deal with it. So they would just type in any date of birth that would let them sell to the kid, and then they would just move along with it. She said there's really not even any way to track that because they can't really pull that information from the registers once the person's left. So she said that she had problems with her kids being able to buy. And the sheriff's office actually said that they had multiple complaints from parents since COVID has started with their kids coming home and just being able to purchase from retailers too.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and I was going to say, I've been in stores where they've not asked, I mean, they just type, like they know what the year is. And so they'll just type in like 11/06/72 or whatever, which is way over. But, that seems like really young to me. But, whatever, they know what the year is. And so, yeah, they just type something in and
I was in a store and they must have had a newer cash register or something because they actually stuck the driver's license into like the credit card slot.
Yeah.
And it calculated the date. So I guess various stores have various
technology for it. And I hate to say this too, but I think a lot of the issues that we're seeing are from some of our smaller mom and pop retailers that don't have those card readers or things like that. But it is a problem. I mean, and we have prom and graduation coming up, and kids are a little nutty right now anyways because they haven't had a normal school year. So we're very concerned about if kids are able to walk into a store and purchase beer or whatever, alcohol, why wouldn't they? You know, if they knew that they were able to do that easily. So
Well, and I think part of the issue is I mean, things haven't changed that much in the 40 plus years since I graduated. Once people figure out where those places are, everybody knows where those places are. Like I could tell you right now,
yeah,
in the town that I grew up in, where you could go buy alcohol if you were underage. I mean, it was just, and I mean, that was common knowledge.
yeah,
It wasn't like a secret. I mean, so, you know, once somebody finds out that, hey, this isn't, you know, you can get by with this, you know, that becomes common knowledge. You know,
yeah. Our
because
next
it doesn't matter if you go to William Blount or Heritage or Maribel or wherever.
our next kind of step in this too, is we're able to be in person, is to talk with some of these tellers that have had problems, that have either failed compliance checks or that have had bad scans come back, and to ask them if they'll participate in the sticker shock campaign that we talked about doing last year. So like, as another intervention, would you be willing to put these stickers on your alcohol? Because that's a major deterrent too. We have a lot of data that suggests that kids are a lot less likely to try to buy if there's a big sticker that says, here's the consequences for making this attempt. So that would be kind of another step in that as well. We don't want to punish anybody. That's not the goal. We want to inform people, and we want to make sure that they have resources that they need to stop the access point. So yeah, but those are all, that's exactly right, Lisa, because I was talking to an officer at our last drug take back, and they were like, oh yeah, I grew up here. I know exactly where you can buy underage without being asked to see your ID or anything like that. So
Well, and you're right. It does tend to be like those smaller, locally owned, you know, those were the places. I mean, it's not the chain places. I mean, and not that it doesn't happen there, but I think it just becomes, you know, and it's harder, you know, in a smaller town too, because you know people.
yeah,
And it becomes more difficult even for like the cashier to say no.
I know. Yeah.
Because they know those people.
Mm-hmm.
Or they know your parents, or they know, you know, oh, what's the big deal, you
Right.
know, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah,
So,
you're exactly right. I will say in our last compliance check, which happened last December, so kind of right before COVID really hit, Palaos failed their compliance check. So we had a major restaurant that didn't pass, and they've since gone out of business, I think, here in Blount County.
they were just wanting to sell something.
Yeah.
They didn't care what they were selling and who they were selling it to. They just needed to sell something.
Yeah. And it's kind of crazy if you think about it too, because now the new IDs, if you're under 21 in Tennessee, are vertical instead of horizontal. So it's super easy. I mean, it's not like before where if you had a fake ID, like maybe it would look really similar or whatever, or maybe you just didn't look at it closely. Like the if you're under 21, your ID is vertical now instead of horizontal. So yeah, I don't know, but I'll keep everyone posted. We have a process that we go through for the compliance checks. We have to notify retailers with a certain amount of time notice on that they could potentially be checked. And then I would love to have a lot of good information that we can compile and give to those police officers and say, this is what we've seen from our community members. They've done a lot of legwork for you guys. So just take a look at this and maybe make your decisions based on this information I'm able to give you. Anybody else? Does anybody else have any updates with their groups or organizations that you're with, or something that we should just be aware of?
I'll go real briefly, and I apologize for not have been on many meetings lately. I've been so crazy busy with all the virtual meetings with school clubs like you talked about. It kind of makes your eyes want to bleed after a while. That's probably horrible to say. But anyway, we have been doing the 4-H Health Rocks program. It has been virtual, and I don't mean that in a bad way. It's been great, honestly. It's gone a lot better than I thought it would with schools. And they're still doing some, obviously they're not getting to do group work or doing anything like related with food. We, back before COVID and after COVID, we'll do it again, but we would teach like some opioid addiction and how easy it is to get addicted with M&Ms, and gave them a little cup and told them their dose is 5 M&Ms, but they had 10 in there. So kind of like that. We're not able to do that right now, but I think it still has gone really well, and I've still gotten good feedbacks from teachers and students. One student, it about made me cry one day. But one student told her teacher that she was so thankful for what she learned in Health Rocks, and she was gonna help her. She wanted to use that to help her friend try to quit smoking. Her friend had been smoking for a year. I was like, yes, that's the feedback we need. But for those who don't know, I should have started with this. The 4-H Health Rocks program is, it's supposed to be an in-person program, but obviously we've done a lot of virtual this year. But it is a really interactive program designed to teach the consequences of drugs, tobacco, and alcohol to our youth. And we work with, 4-H works with 4th through 12th grade, but so far I've done the Health Rocks program with 2 middle schools with their social health classes. And it's gone great. I'm super excited. We've still got a couple more finishing up before the end of the school year, a couple more class sets, all their class periods. I still have several more youth I would like to reach. If y'all have any programs going on during the summer that you think might be interested. The biggest challenge with the program, and it still works great, it's just sometimes it, scheduling wise, is that we are, with the grant, we are required to do 10 hours of programming with the youth. But I don't know, it kind of actually works out well because I still don't even get to talk about everything I'd like to talk about. And in schools, I essentially just do 10 class days, fit those in. So if y'all know of any programs going on over the summer that this might be a good addition to, we've still got several youth we're looking to deliver this program to.
Are you guys working with Boys and Girls Club?
No, but that's a good contact. I haven't worked with them yet, but I'm definitely open to.
We're in the process.
We're in the process of trying to kind of get an anti-drug coalition, a youth anti-drug coalition started with them. So that would be something great for us to partner on, especially if you could do the curriculum and we could maybe do some of the leadership piece of it. That would be great. And there's a little bit of the leadership component in the 4-H Health Rocks program. So you can kind of tie it into that too. It could even become part of that 10 hours or whatever. Also, I would suggest the MLK Center and summer after school programs. So like Alcoa is Summer Stars and the Friends program and Adventure Club.
Yeah.
Parents are
and Blount Homeschool Association too, if you're not working with them. BHEA.
You guys meet throughout the summer? Danielle?
Great.
Oh, Blount Home. This is our first year homeschooling. I expect we will do at least some homeschooling because our kids drive us insane when they have nothing to do. So we haven't really come up with what our summer will look like, but I know the BHEA is they're active all year.
Okay. Amanda, another group that we were looking at possibly was the Fringe program.
Yeah.
And if we do the Fringe program, we could use lots of hands.
Yeah.
Because we have to do 10 hours. And, we were thinking maybe we could do one whole program in a week by doing 2 hours a day for 5 days or whatever combination it would take.
Yeah, just let
so
me know. We can help with that.
Well,
is there a certain, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I remember this coalition used to be huge, just surrounding that huge table. And I see we only have a handful here. So anything that we could get announced out, we can use volunteers.
Mhm.
Coalition members may be free this summer or help out a couple hours here and there.
Yeah,
I'll be glad to sacrifice my kids to it. You just let us know how many people you need. I'll
Well-
round some people up.
That would be awesome.
Well-
Team leaders would be a great addition to. They tend to connect really well with the younger youth.
But Danielle, I was also talking about adults too. So
Adults
thank
and
you
youth, yeah.
thank you for offering your kids, but
Oh, I'm always happy to offer my kids. You
Will
can
you
take
be able
them,
to
do whatever
stay,
you want
though?
with them.
would you be able to stay?
Yes, I can stay. My
um,
summer is a lot less busy than my spring. I have more time.
We'll let you know how that pans out, because they may not, they may have their days planned all out already, so we don't know yet.
yeah,
But the Boys and Girls Club, that's a good one, and MLK,
Thank you.
we'll definitely check on those.
because we had started parent programming with Boys and Girls Club before COVID. And so that was like an opportunity for us to come in and really provide information to parents about, what we're seeing in the community and what they can do, and parents of kids that are club members. So that was a great opportunity for us too. So yeah, Amy, you and I should talk a little bit too about how much we could
Yeah.
keep up with youth coalition formation and your program, because that would be a really great thing. If we could-
Sorry to interrupt. I would also reach out to Susan Spalding with the Foster Care Association in town. They're really active. And I know COVID's been really hard on them too. I'm sure they'd be interested in looking into something that they could participate in.
Mhm.
Do you have a number on her?
I do.
Susan? Yeah, okay. Yeah, I've got one. I can check and make sure it's still accurate and I can text it to you.
We've used her in the past to really get medical lock boxes out to families that are taking in new foster placements. A lot of those kids have medications that need to be locked, and lock boxes are expensive if you're not expecting it. So yeah, we've used her before for that. So that's a good idea. The other point that I wanted to make too, to what you said, James, is that I will say, yes, our numbers are lower right now because of virtual. I think spring break does have something to do with that this week. And I also will say that that's not strictly to us. Pretty much every coalition across the state right now, the attendance has not been what it normally would be, just because people don't really, they're not as motivated to get onto a Zoom meeting, as it would be to see their friends or their peers or whatever face to face. So
My comment was not meant as a slam. I'm just, hey, 4-H is the same way. Our numbers are down too. So it was not meant.
I also know, I usually work with Will Gates. He usually helps some with the schools when we go into schools. He hasn't this year because one, because we haven't gone into schools, but two, I know he is insanely busy with COVID tracking and everything going on. So
Yeah, he'll tell you that he has learned a whole new job in the last year.
yeah, he may have a whole new job.
we all have.
Yeah.
yeah, I make a point to check in with him like once a quarter just to kind of see, because he's our tobacco education specialist through the health department. And we were partnering with the health department with our Tobacco Tells program with elementary school kids. And that has just been put on hold. I mean, partially because we haven't been able to get into the schools to do it, but also because they do not, like the health department right now is not doing the community outreach education, which we're concerned about because it's so important to get to those kids early and to be able to really give them good information about smoking and drinking and all of those things. But yeah, he told me, probably what he's told you all, that he doesn't have an end in sight for when his job will be back to the community education piece. So hopefully sooner rather than later, but I think he's on like contact tracing.
Yeah.
So anyways, hopefully.
I don't envy him.
Yeah.
But yeah, Amy, we should just, I'll email you after this meeting and we should just set up
that'd be
a
perfect.
talk because there's so many things we could probably pair really naturally.
Do you
But
have my email, or do you want me to put it in the chat to you? Or
put it in the chat. I know I have it, but if you don't care to, that would be great.
One other quick question. I thought my t-shirt was coming to my house, but apparently I did not choose that option. So my guess is it's with you at the library. Is there a time that's better or worse to come by and pick that up?
Not really, just let me know, or I can take it to you. Are you guys in the office?
Sometimes.
Okay. What?
I mean, there's always somebody here, and we have a drop box that you can drop stuff off in. But I mean, like, I could even come by this afternoon or tomorrow
Okay.
and pick it up.
If you're,
So I'll just do that.
I'll
Yeah.
definitely be here today. Our schedule's been a little irregular just because my kids with Alcoa have just recently gotten back on a full in-person schedule. And so we're just kind of now resuming some normal office hours with that. Yeah, I'll be here today for sure. And I can
Okay, I'll just try to, I'll come by this afternoon.
Okay, great. Yeah, if anybody else is missing a shirt and you ordered one and you had it sent here, let us know because we've got them for you. I was gonna have my daughter model it. Or she got a, Paul ordered her a really little coalition shirt, and it's
That would be perfect. You should put that on. That's good advertising.
Yes,
Everybody loves a cute little kid.
great.
Take advantage of it while she's still a cute little kid.
Yeah,
Cuteness sells.
yeah, she is. She's something else. All right, everybody. Anyone else? Katie, anything from McNabb we should know? Business as usual.
Yeah, pretty much business as usual. We we're gonna probably start seeing some increase in our census. Like our intakes have increased quite a bit over the last couple of weeks. And just continuing to talk about our behavioral health safety net program for children and youth. The big part of that is just those families where maybe have experienced some job loss due to COVID. And so they make too much to not qualify for TennCare, but not enough to carry insurance. So we're really trying to capture that population right now, especially going into the summer, and be able to provide services for those youth. So that's why we're kind of pushing that pretty hard right now. And so, but other than that, we're just continuing to see people in person, and this I've reached out to Shannon, and we'll be in touch with you guys about potentially partnering with you on a presentation or just what you need from us pretty soon. I definitely think with the co-occurring services that we provide, being able to educate the community with how mental health and substance use are often kind of entangled, and how those web together, I think would be really helpful. So we'll get back to you guys as soon as we can kind of look at our schedules and decide on a good topic for that.
Great. Yeah, we would appreciate that.
Hey, Jan, what are you going to do for Hijacked? Are you going to just put it off till next year, or what did you do with this year?
I don't know if you saw that Maryville College is going to start in person in the fall, but the Clayton Center hasn't started scheduling anything yet, so that'll probably have to be put off until next year.
Okay.
I do want to mention August 14th and 15th, I'm on a committee that's bringing a RAM clinic to Blount County. And I mentioned to Amanda that we are going to have an addiction component to it, and mental health component to it. I'll have goodie bags there. So if you want to put anything about Be Aware Blount in the goodie bags, you're welcome to do that.
Great.
And I am going to have the drug awareness game at Maryville High School again. That's October 22nd. And I've already talked to MASPA, Mental Health Association and Suicide Prevention, about them putting a table up, and Be Aware Blount putting a table up, and I'll add it to the wheel so that when we spin the wheel, they'll have to go to your table. And then you can give them whatever you want to give them. If you do any kind of survey, I'd probably have to get that approved. But, you know, if you want to ask a question to the kids about something, I don't think that should be a problem. We just have to make sure it's okay with administration. But you could ask a question, get your data, and then give them something, a bracelet or whatever you want to give them. But anyway, that's October 22nd.
I don't know anything about that. Do they have a thing where they have like a bingo card where everybody has to go around to the tables and get stamped?
I have a
And do
big
all
like
that?
5-foot wheel that I spin, and
Okay.
the kids spin it and they win prizes. I mean, I have a friend that gives those 16-inch cookie cakes, just all different kinds of prizes.
So
They give
basically,
them-
we just needed to have like a really good giveaway. And
Well-
get something if you come fill out a survey or something.
just something so that yeah, you can make it worth your while. Plus, when the
Okay.
kids come to the table, they'll get something too. Because I mean, I think we did spin that thing 500 times at the game the last time I used it. We didn't do it last year, obviously, but the time before that, 2019, 500 times we spin that wheel was going the whole night. So, well, instead of just having a table there for Be Aware Blount, we'll have it on the wheel so that they have to go to it.
That'll be great.
So if it lands on it, they go to your table and you'll have something there for them. So
Yeah, that'll be great. We'll try to make sure we have some things set up that we can give out.
And I'm sorry, did you say a RAM clinic in August? What does that mean?
remote area medical clinic. It's going to be at the Everett Center, right there by Parks and Rec's headquarters. It's on the 14th and the 15th. It's primarily dental and optical that's offered to people that don't have that type of insurance. I think they're anticipating about 250 to 300 patients coming through on that. It's day and a half is what it really is, but they're all over the world, actually, remote area medical. But they provide that. They provide dental, optical. There is a medical aspect to it. We'll have a UT mammogram van there, mobile van. And then we're going to have 3 addiction counselors and then give out information and goodie bags about recovery and prevention we could put in there and whatever you have.
Do you are you guys at all interested in having Narcan to give out?
Well, you'd have to do the training, and I don't know if we could incorporate that too.
Yeah, that would be, if you wanted that set up, reach out to Marissa Valentine with ropes, if you needed to give, if you wanted to give that out.
I can ask my committee if they want to. But yeah, that's a good point.
I'll give you information about our coalition and then maybe some, like a magnet or something about safe disposal information.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. So 250, well, we're gonna do 300 goodie bags, so.
Is that the one your leadership blunt class is doing, Jan?
Yes.
When do you need that stuff by, Jan?
July. But you can get it to me anytime. I mean, I don't mind collecting it.
Did you say July?
Well, the event is August 14th.
Oh,
but
for
I'd
that
like to
event,
have
okay.
everything by July, so
Okay.
I can put it all together.
Okay.
Sounds good. Thank you for telling us about that. And we will definitely get you that stuff. And just let me know if you want the Narcan piece, and I can help set that up if you want that. All right. Anybody else? Okay. Well, it's about that time. So we appreciate you guys being on today, and just stay tuned. Like I said, next month will be another busy month with some of our events and during Take Back, but hopefully in May, we'll look to do an outdoor event. And then by June, we'll be looking to have our indoor meetings again, fingers crossed. So we appreciate you guys, and we'll see everyone soon.
Bye.
Bye.